Can you all hear me now? Boom, there we go, loud and clear. Let's try that again. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to Gentlemen in Crypto, episode 208. Today is Wednesday, July 18th, and I'm King. And Bitcoin Zay is out today. He's traveling. Hopefully we'll get him back tomorrow. The reason why I didn't have sound on is because I wanted to be like Coinbase today. Our top story, which we'll get into shortly. The pump fakes. I just pump faked you all with the sound. Jizzy Mac, what's going on? Sergeant Crypto, Gabriel Hernandez, John Siebert, Fed the Realtor, what's going on? Antonio. Who else we got? Everybody coming in. Yes, I did say we always say this is a tennis show, and we are starting right on time as always. For the free Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin Zay had the name, so I'm not going to give out a different one. I'm going to wait till we get him tomorrow. But don't worry, we have another one today. What's going on, Tyson Shields? But let's go ahead and jump into the top news today. Coinbase retracts announcement of regulatory approval to list coins considered securities. Listen, this is something we talked about yesterday. If you called us, we kept saying the Coinbase, we kept saying pamp it. For those who don't know the inside joke, that's coming from the Gordon Gekko. Greed is good when he's on the phone and he's talking about pump the stocks, whoever. So that's one of the things in crypto. If you're ever on crypto Twitter and you see people say pamp it, they are saying that whoever is behind something, McAfee, of course, is pumping coins 24/7 and shilling coins. Well, yesterday when we talked about that Coinbase announcement and their 5 coins that they said might be listed as securities and all the other nonsense, we kept saying pamp it in the background because we knew they were full of crap. And of course, they come back today and retract the announcement about that regulatory approval. It looks like Coinbase, of course, reported it could operate as a broker-dealer, offering all these new digital tokens known as securities and all that good stuff. Well, it looks like today they came back and said they're going to reverse that statement. They told Bloomberg it had not, in fact, received any such regulatory endorsement. Of course, they said that they got that regulatory endorsement from the SEC and FINRA. And it looks like FINRA decided not to even comment on the matter today. And the SEC confirmed that they did not give Coinbase explicit approval for the deal. However, that they were in informal talks. Again, people, this is what we're talking. Yes, Fed the Realtor, market manipulation. This is what we talk about. This is illegal. This is illegal. If McAfee were to keep doing it, you remember he got that tap on the shoulder early this year when the government basically told him that he wasn't allowed to pump ICOs and coins on his Twitter account. Every other big person got it. If Bitcoin Zay and I were to try to do it, we would get arrested and be charged with market manipulation, all that. If you remember, I think the SEC was even offering $100,000 to anybody that can find on the Telegram groups that were responsible for pumping coins and manipulating prices in the market. However, once again, when you have that government-backed approval like Coinbase, you're allowed to do market manipulation. And we literally called this yesterday. We said they were going to manipulate the market and they were pumping coins. That's what they just did. Literally 24 hours later, they come back and say, actually, we lied. We didn't get any SEC or FINRA approval, and everything's back to normal. And no one gets in trouble, of course, because if you're playing with billions of dollars, it is perfectly legal to do. Gabriel Hernandez says, so who's going to lose their job over this? We all know the answer to that. Look, if anything, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the people who work for the SEC and FINRA actually bought some of those coins beforehand as well and sold them early this morning before they released this news, okay? This is the name of the game. This is what they do. Tyson Shields said they're worried about their competitors. Coinbase are like some jealous girlfriend. Right. I mean, again, people, it's unfortunate we're starting to see this on a daily basis, but I'm glad we're seeing it because after the next crisis happened, you know, we always talk about the last financial crisis was literally 10 years ago. And we said we never seen Bitcoin in a down market traditionally, a traditional down market. We've only seen Bitcoin in a bull market, at least from the Western United States perspective. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when that market does finally turn into a bear run. Not only that, I don't think people are going to believe the same story of, well, we need to bail out these banks. We need to help these big businesses because you're seeing it right in front of you. They don't care about the little guys. They're doing what's in their best interest. And again, from a business point of view, we always say we're not hating on Coinbase. Hey, if they can get away with it, which they're doing, they're getting away with breaking the law and they're making a lot of money while they do it. Why stop now? I mean, the worst that can happen is they get fined. We know no one's going to go to jail for this. So it is unfortunate, but this is what we're dealing with. Coinbase with the Elijah Wan head fake. I know, right, Jizzy Mac? It's ridiculous. But hey, this is the world we live in the United States. You're seeing corruption at its finest right here. In other news, Stellar becomes first Sharia-certified blockchain for payments and asset tokenization. Stellar, for those who don't know, of course, Stellar was made by some of the same folks from Ripple. Stellar is an open source platform for distributed payments. Is reportedly the first distributed ledger protocol to obtain Sharia compliance certification in the money transfer and asset tokenization field. Wow, a lot of words there. According to the Stellar blog post, looks like the Sharia Review Bureau, it's a leading international Sharia advisory agency licensed by the Central Bank of Bahrain, has examined the capabilities and applications of Stellar and released guidance that allows for the deployment of Stellar technology in Islamic financial institutions. All right, so here's the thing. I'm not going to talk too crazy about Sharia, the Bureau, the Sharia Review Bureau, because for those who don't know, Sharia law, that's what all the Islamic religion follows as far as what they're allowed to do and they're not allowed to do. We're talking about a quarter of the population. So I don't mind pissing people off, but I don't want to piss off 25% of the world's population. But this is what I will say. This Sharia Advisory Review Bureau, they are not against the same type of corruption we have seen with Coinbase and the SEC and FINRA. What I mean by that is, who says, you know, what makes Stellar the person to get certified by them, huh? I'm sure there was an exchange of money or crypto assets somewhere along this guidance and this certification. That's all I'm saying. Stellar has a lot of money in that project. Again, they're the little baby brother of Ripple. So I would not be surprised to find out on the back end someone from the Stellar organization paid the Sharia Advisory Review Bureau to get listed as certified. I mean, I'm just going to come out and say it. You can kind of see it here. Here's the Sharia certificate. This certificate, along with the attached Sharia guidelines, constitute as pronouncement by Sharia Review Bureau in its capacity as the Sharia advisory of Stellar Network, the network. And again, you can see this right here. That's on the website as well. This is an article from Cointelegraph, and they have the certification highlighted as a link, so you can click on it, but you can just kind of go through it and read it. Again, I haven't read through this, just saw this morning, but I would not be surprised to see that there's a back-end deal going on. I don't know. Stellar gave them a million tokens on the back end if they were to certify this. This is something you got to kind of expect. And at the end of the day, it's still a Stellar pump. I don't think exactly. Fed the Realtor said, "Why is religion involved in tech?" Again, it makes no sense, and that's what I was kind of go to. Just because it's been certified by the Sharia Review Bureau, it doesn't mean it's still the best, you know, network out there to use. Not saying it's bad, but it's not the best network still. It's just, hey, it's just 25% more of the population has been okay to use it. If you remember, the Sharia Review Bureau also said earlier this year, I think it was about in April, it said Bitcoin is recognized as generally permissible as well. So again, this is one of those things where we saw in China when they do the ratings of the different cryptos. I think Russia did as well. You see Bitcoin come in number 8, number 13, and all these other coins come in above it. This is the same thing to me. You're saying Bitcoin is being recognized as generally permissible under Sharia law, but Stellar has actually been certified to be used. So again, this is one of those things where I wonder why the one project that is truly open source and decentralized, that can't give a certification board or anything, is tokens. You literally had to go in and buy those or trade them, versus a organization that does have the power to literally pay you or to give away its tokens to you for you to certify it as a blockchain for payments and assets tokenization. So, hey, shout out to Stellar. Great job on your part. Again, from the business end, can't be mad at that. But for investors, I will be leery about this. Jizzy Max said, this is more news that just switched the coin name in the headline. Exactly. Yep. CryptoQ said, Sharia deals specifically with interest in profiting from securities. Exactly. Look, it's a review bureau. They're there to make money as well. I mean, going back to the 2008 financial crisis, the biggest thing with that was some of the credit agencies that was reviewing some of the mortgage loans. They were getting paid under the table and everything was AAA. And everything was good to go, even though they knew they were giving out bad loans and faulty loans. So to me, this is the same thing. You have a review bureau. At the end of the day, they're supposed to do their job and and be objective in their findings. But it's a bunch of people, human errors. There's a bunch of people, and there's an organization that's saying, "Hey," not saying Stellar did this. I'm just saying for them to come out of nowhere and get this certification, it's not far-fetched to say we're going to give you guys X amount of dollars or X amount of our tokens if you certify this under your board for your religion. So this is one of those things you have to take a look at. John Siebert said they won't need any Sharia with Bitcoin. What's going on, Tessa? Tyson Shield says, so everyone can make money. So very strange who authorized it. How far they will have to go to report back to it. Yeah, it is strange. Again, this is it's unfortunate, but when you talk about Coinbase, you're talking about Stellar in this review board. We're starting to see more of this every day. We're going to continue seeing more of it. I'm not sure if I put the article in today's news, but no, I didn't. But I forgot it was let's see if I can find it. There was a study just done where it says most of the ICOs that have come out have been, they've been fake. Here we go. Boom. I'm going to pull this article up because it kind of goes along with the Sharia story with Stellar and Coinbase. But most ICOs retain centralized control. They break white paper promises. An academic report has showed that. And this is the academic report from the University of Pennsylvania Law. They did an in-depth report on this. I'm going to briefly cover this story because it was one of those things where you don't even need to do a report on. I haven't done a report on this. I could have told you that already. It is a money grab right now, people. We're seeing this from the government agencies across the world. You hear a new acronym every time we come on. You're seeing this from review boards. You're seeing this from Coinbase. It is a money grab. So no, you should not trust a lot of these things out here. And again, this kind of goes more along. If you're trading, who cares? If you're trading, buy the rumor, sell the news, of course. But if you're actually heavily invested emotionally and with your resources in some of these projects, you might want to take a second look because a lot of them are not telling you the truth. Right. Jizzy Max said ICOs are fake and grass is free. Exactly. What's going on, Madam Crypto? Here's a great story I like to see, though. Bitcoin mining firms make unicorn lists for the first time. All right, so shortly, for those who don't know what a unicorn is, Silicon Valley, they dubbed some of these top companies that come out and turn to billion-dollar companies unicorns. You're talking about the Ubers, Airbnbs. These companies come once every blue moon. As of recently, they've been having a lot more, of course, because of the speed of technology and the fact that people are implementing and trying new things out. But unicorns are called unicorns for a reason. They rarely happen. You don't see them often. You don't see an investor, especially a Wall Street investor, go in, put some money up, and then literally a year or 2 years later, it's $1 billion company. They're used to those slow and steady 3 to 7% gains. They don't see that double-digit, triple-digit gains. So looks like Bitcoin mining firms in China, 3 of them, have now been valued over $1 billion for the first time. A list of unicorns. The Shanghai-based Huron Research Institute published its Q2 Unicorn Index for the Greater China region on Wednesday. It notably included the names of some of the biggest Bitcoin mining firms. Bitmain, of course, we knew that was going to be one. Canon Creative and eBang was the third one. Looks like, was it? Yeah, eBang was the third one. The third Huron list of 130 Chinese unicorns is never before featured a fully cryptocurrency-focused firm. This is big news, people. Not just for these Chinese firms, but for cryptocurrency in general. Again, cryptocurrency has been fighting against the status quo. People don't know why all the FUD comes out. This is why the FUD comes out. Can you imagine this? This people in the United States have invested in companies for over 10 to 15 years. Some people have gone broken back again. I mean, you talk about President Trump, he's one of the people who's been just about bankrupt and came back, wins and losses through businesses. I mean, business is a tough thing. So to see 3 different companies, all Bitcoin and crypto related, Bitcoin mining companies at that, turning into unicorns. We're talking about some of these companies are only 2, 3, 4 years old, people. To turn into unicorns is a big deal for the cryptocurrency environment. It's one of those things where for all these people in the United States who want to ignore it, you cannot ignore it. When you have multiple companies in the same industry making over $1 billion in a short amount of time, you cannot ignore it. You have to go with it, which is why when we talk about some of these banks and these VCs, and these investors who make these 180s who, at first they want to talk bad about Bitcoin and crypto, the Dino Diamonds and those folks out there, JP Morgan Chases. And then literally 3 or 4 months later, they come back and say, well, Bitcoin's not all that bad. 3 or 4 months later, well, we're starting a cryptocurrency trading desk. 3 or 4 months later, we're actually going to start an exchange. 3 or 4 months later, well, we're actually going to do this in this space. They have no choice. They literally have no choice at this point. We always say the war is over. At the end of the day, this is just a waiting game. It's about being patient. As Charlie Lee said on Twitter yesterday, you need to make sure you have at least one full Bitcoin, because when it's all said and done, if you have one Bitcoin, you will be financially secure moving forward in the future. But I thought that was a pretty cool story to see that. Another good story. We've been having all this fun. It's time for the positive news. Bitcoin investment trust creator adding $10 million in new investments every week. Bullish indicator if I ever seen one. Grayscale Investments, the fund provider behind the Bitcoin investment trust. For those who don't know, they've been around just about since the beginning. Grayscale Investments, Barry Silbert, of course, Silbert, he started that up. They've been around for a while, but they're saying now that they're onboarding nearly $10 million in new investments every week. $10 million in new Bitcoin investments on a weekly basis, people. They say that majority of that capital is coming from institutional investors. Again, bullish indicator. It looks like on this Grayscale tweet, you can see the total investment to Grayscale products to date has been $248.39 million. Average weekly investment on all products is $9.55 million. Average weekly investment in the Bitcoin trust is about $6 million, $6.04 million. So again, we're talking about this $250 million, right? And people want to say Bitcoin is dead, all the FUD is not going to last, all this negativity. Again, a company is not about to lose $250 million without doing their due diligence. They know it's coming. They're sticking in it. And again, this is a very bullish indicator. This is pretty good. They said credit investors are the next largest investor group, with 20% of new investments coming from wealthy retail buyers. Well, yeah, the retail people keep the market alive, of course. Retirement accounts account for another 16%, and the credit and retail investors alike can use brokerage services to purchase select Grayscale products and hold them in tax advantage accounts. And the remaining 8% in capital is coming from family offices. This is a big thing I want to highlight: retirement accounts. When you talk about how far and how big Bitcoin can get, people, we haven't even saw retirement accounts in some of these major funds. You talk about police funds, fireman funds, union funds. We have not seen that money come into crypto yet. Once we start seeing that on a weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, where, you know, again, if you watch Billions, you saw when Axe Capital, he was going, I think it was the New York Police Department. He, you know, he was trading their fund for them, or their union fund they had. Millions of dollars, billions of dollars. We have not seen that type of money come into cryptocurrency yet. To them, it's still too volatile. So that's one of the things where Grayscale has managed to capture some of those people. But once we see that on a wide scale in the mainstream, that's when you're going to start seeing that price do what it did in December. It was just blinking and blinking and blinking, going to the next $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 up. And oh, I did have that story up. Okay, so yeah, that was our last story. It was the ICOs that retain centralized control. So not a lot of news today, which is good. Bitcoin price is up a little bit, $7,435 we're looking at right now. Of course, the market is going crazy. Everybody's saying it's because of this, that, and the other. Healthy correction. Again, we're eyeing August 10th, hopefully for some good gains. Until then, we're just sitting back and remaining steady. Other than that, let's see. For the free Bitcoin today, short show for the free Bitcoin today. Since we're talking about ICOs and you can't trust them in their white paper, what has been the biggest ICO bust to date? You can go back in time, but in the comments section, of course, with your public address, let us know what has been the biggest ICO to go bust to date. I'm not sure if BitConnect was actually ICO, so don't include that. But the biggest ICO to go bust. There's a lot of good ones came from this year. Tell us which one it is and why do you think it is. And of course, leave your public address and we'll be sure to get you those free Satoshis tomorrow. Until then, we will see you tomorrow. Hopefully we get Bitcoin Zay back on here. Happy hump day and cheers.